I'm currently loving watching the propaganda war happening around Tim Walz right now. So what Kamala Harris needed as a running mate was a moderate, someone to appeal to the Conservatives, and that person would have been Josh Shapiro. But because of reasons, we've instead got Tim Walz, who is allegedly...
He's been one of the most far-left radicals in the entire United States government at any level.
And whether you think this is true or not, it's countering this narrative that the Democrats are focused on right now. So how do you distract Conservatives from his policies during COVID, his policies on transgender children and abortion, which, by the way, in Minnesota, where he's currently governor, is pretty much allowed until the moment of birth? Well, you don't talk about policy, rather you talk about this.
Tim Walz is not just a Midwestern dad now. He's been a Midwestern dad his whole life. He served in the National Guard. He has his own award-winning tater tots hot dish.
This is America's dad, America's football coach, America's...
She called him Coach Walz.
Yeah, Coach, America's teacher.
And who's lying? Well, they're all partial truths, but let me know whether you think this will work or whether you think the Republican messaging is stronger. And as for Josh Shapiro, why do I think Kamala dropped him? Well, Middle Easterners and Muslim Americans are heavily concentrated in many of the swing states like Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Michigan. In 2020, Biden only narrowly won Michigan, a state with 200,000 registered Muslim voters, and according to the Arab American Institute, since the last election, support for the Democrats has plummeted from 59% to just 17% as of late last year, and as for Muslims, it went from 70% down to just 10%. While these Arabs and Muslims are even less likely to vote for Trump and Vance, fact check, turns out Trump is actually quite popular among Arab and Muslim voters. In America especially, it's often the case of just convincing people to come out and vote at all. And although, in my opinion, Walz is unlikely to oppose America's current foreign policy in the Levant, he is far more palatable for Arabs and Muslims than Shapiro, who has a very Jewish-sounding name, has been very open about his support for Zionism and his antagonism towards a two-state solution, and Kamala has also been very carefully navigating the current polarization in this area. For example, she didn't attend Netanyahu's recent address of Congress, and also who could forget the pro-Palestine youth voting bloc, who could prove to be very vocal and disruptive at the upcoming convention. And although I don't believe Kamala's regime would drastically change the current foreign policy, optics at this stage are increasingly important. Thanks for watching.